Hi, this is Kiwanis Drizzling Hot Topics TV. Today's topic is whether having a degree would decrease the chance of having poverty. The answer to that is yes or no. You can have a degree, but you can still have the chance of being in poverty. The reason why that is because as you go to college, you are then faced with many financial circumstances, which then you can sometimes end up taking loans, and then that end up putting yourself in debt if you can't pay it back afterwards. Many students, as myself, go to college. We use financial aid as best we possibly can. But then there comes to a point while you're in college, though, when sometimes financial aid that you're getting from the government is just not enough to pay for school. With increasing fees and tuitions that happen every single year, you're then left at a financial standpoint when you then have to then take a loan. Sometimes these loans have such a huge amount of interest to the point that when you do leave college, you're then left having to pay that back. And sometimes it can be very substantial and overwhelming. There are many students and many college undergraduates, graduate students, law school students, all of them, like for example, medical students also, that end up going to school and afterwards, when they graduate, are faced with a huge amount of debt that they have to pay for, which are sometimes in the thousands, hundred thousands, and they have to have it start paying automatically as soon as college is over. So then you're left thinking to yourself, like, if I get a job after I finish college, that means I automatically, start paying off this debt. But then you're left with the problem of how I'm going to get that job after I finish college. As you see, the numbers are increasingly growing, where there's college students graduating every single year, but they're not being able to enter the job market. Say, for example, this past fall quarter, 26 students were interviewed by UC Davis College. And throughout those 26 students that was interviewed, only 2 students actually had a set job already prepared for them as soon as they graduated. But then think about it, that's only out of 26. Imagine out of everyone who graduated, if you were to then do the ratio of out of that amount of people, there isn't a lot of people who are then going to be able to enter the job market. As you see, our economy is pretty bad already as it is in the USA. And it's only slightly getting better. But even though it's slightly getting better, there are still people who are left without employment, constantly rolling in every single year. So then you have to ask yourself, like, how, as a student, as a college student, do I get myself a job? And how I not face, poverty after leaving college, or how I not face debt? I would say scholarships are your best key. Some people stop applying to scholarships as soon as they get into college, their freshman year, and they think, I'm set, but you should constantly keep applying. Fastweb.com is a perfect example of a website as you go through school as an undergraduate, and you can constantly keep applying to them. Sometimes your scholarships are just one click of a button, and sometimes you don't have to fill out like an essay. Most times students such as myself, we don't have the time to sit there, write an essay for every single application there is for a scholarship. But we shouldn't sit down, we shouldn't relax when we're in school thinking everything's going to be set, because as we're in school, during that time period, there's going to be some change within the government, some change within the school system, where nothing's ever set, where there's going to be some form of increase of fees, some form of increase of tuition that happens during that time period during the year. So we should always be ahead, always one step above the system, just to make sure that we get in, we get out, as they say, and get ahead. But sometimes it's not as easy as that, getting into a college and getting out and getting ahead. You can get into a college, you can get out, but you necessarily don't always get ahead, depending on your circumstances. Sometimes you can get out of college and then you're faced with like obstacles, like you might end up having to go back home because then you can't find a job. Job market isn't so open as what it's shown to be on TV's advertisements of this such and such is hiring, but then when you actually try to apply, it's like you're pinned against every single 20 or 100 people who are trying to apply for the same job. And there's always going to be some person who has way much higher qualifications than you that you're competing against. against. I'm not trying to put this as a downer towards those who are trying to have education. I myself am a student getting an education. I just wanted it to be an eye-opener that there's challenges after college, there's challenges within college, just for you to get in and get out and get ahead of the system, just to get ahead and to provide for yourself after you leave college. So I say don't take it as having a BA or BS automatically sets me being set for life. I would say push yourself, strive harder and harder. Don't give up after a BA or BS. Like, try reaching for every single available opportunity there is, every single type of internship, anything you possibly can do to make yourself get ahead of that one next step for the person. I'll just leave this as an advice, I guess, towards everyone else. But I would say that just try your hardest you possibly can. Know that education is a key, but you shouldn't be sold that education and that having it will basically let you be set for life. Sometimes it's that resources you have, those connections. Always try to build connections with as many people you can. Because sometimes those connections that you have can also be what provide you for a job. So I leave you with this question. Do you think the education you have now, or the education you plan on having in the future, will set you for life? Will save you from any type of poverty, any type of form of situation? If you don't believe so, then I would say push harder. Do as much as you possibly can. Bye.